So I do have to voice this over. I apologize, but there's a couple lessons here that I think you guys would probably like to see. So one, you guys love when I talk about plunge grinds. Well, here's another plunge grind issue. You see how the plunge grind's like touching the edge? Well, it's also poking down lower. So what's happening now? When I go to sharpen my knife, I can't even hit the first 3 to 4 inches of the blade because it's lifting it off the stone. So in order for me to sharpen this and get all the way back to the heel, I either A, have to recurve it, or 2, I have to grind that off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grind that corner off. Now I can use a diamond plate or I could use a belt. I'm going to wind up using a belt, but you know, before I just do this with a regular diamond plate, you just knock down that corner just so you can get as close as possible to hitting the heel of the blade, you know, the first part of the blade by the plunge grind, without not being able to hit the rest of the blade. So here I'm just grinding it off really quick. And once that's gone, I'm ready to sharpen. Now, being that this is such a thick fixed blade, you know, these could take a long time to sharpen. And if you lower back your edge angle to a lower angle, so it's a bigger bevel, it will absolutely take a very, very, very long time. So, and also there's a lot more imperfections in grinds like these because there's so much more grind to have problems. So that could become a nightmare. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to sharpen it at the exact same angle that's on the knife. In this case, on this knife, you know, it's probably like 20 degrees. It does have a pretty good sized bevel. I'm happy about that because otherwise, you know, I would have wanted to lower it down. So luckily this one's a good size, but I'm struggling to remove the burr. So just so you know, I should have spent more time on the stone, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but I'm struggling to remove my burr. It's not coming off nice and clean. And, you know, I'm, you know, going back and forth, you know, trying to basically either diminish it or to fatigue it as much as possible. Got to a strop. I did have to do a little bit extra on the strop, and I thought for a second it might be the heat treatment. I started chopping cardboard and, you know, like the paper towel rolls, and it wound up microchipping and showing wear already, which is not good. Now, this is how sharp it was. And you see how sharp it was fresh off the stone. So right after cutting that stuff, it didn't seem like it shouldn't have lost its edge that fast. I should have spent far more time on the stone. I can clearly see, now that I really look at it under the light, I can really see the factory edge coming through my edge or my scratches. So I know I should have spent more time. I should have removed more material, and I did not. So, you know, before I blame it on the heat treatment of this knife or anything like that, I'm going to put the blame on myself. You guys always get to see my successes with sharpening, but I'm not always successful.